Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Tammy Talks here. Let's go ahead and talk Ready to Love Season 5, Episode 6, The Backup Plan. So for those of you that are brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns of TV shows, both scripted and reality, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So if you enjoy that type of content, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Thumbs up the video if you enjoyed this little here piece of content. And then hop into the comment section so we can talk about this. Ready to Love has been so interesting this season. It's weird. I feel like everybody is super amped up. Everybody is on go right away. It seems like a very aggressive and like hostile situation to be in. But let's talk about it, y'all. So we start off with the gentleman's lounge. So Tommy tells the guys he wants them to take out their backup plan. We know that you guys have your number one, your main connections. Let's take out your backup plan so that you guys can start to build upon that, just in case, y'all are sharing the same first choice. Tori said he got to take a drink to that because he doesn't have a backup plan. Sabrina was his plan, but we know that Sabrina is feeling Demetrius, so it's a little sticky for Tori. So we first see Eric and Carmen, and y'all know I do not like Carmen. Carmen has very, very weird energy to me, and I don't know. She seems like she has chaotic energy to me, at least. It seems very, very chaotic. So Carmen said that she's nervous. Eric said it's almost not fair to all the other ladies because he already knows her, so they know each other. Remember, they knew each other before. I think Carmen hired Eric as a chef for some type of event. They've always had like a flirtatiousness between the two of them, but neither has ever really acted upon it. So Carmen said that when she walks in rooms, that she commands attention. It's probably because you be wearing colorful contacts, but that's neither here nor there. He mentioned, she asked if he's feeling any of the women, like who are you feeling, who are you with, who are you, who do you have your eye on? He mentions Takiyah. And then he says how Takiyah kind of leaned in and kissed him. And Carmen said that is a very desperate move because she is a desperate woman and she's been like hovering around him. And I'm like, Carmen, I feel like this is the first instance that we've seen of cattiness that I can like recall from this season. And it's weird because from what we can see, a lot of these women are getting along very well. No one is like really stepping on anybody else's toes. Like it's going rather smoothly, and then here you come like being unnecessary. Why is she thirsty? Why is she desperate because she kissed him? But okay, Carmen, you're desperate because you wear blue eyes, you wear blue contacts. Like that was just weird. That was weird. So she then goes on to tell the camera in her confessional that if she wants Eric, she can have Eric. Really? So then why are you on the show? Because if you really want Eric and you can just have Eric, why don't you call Eric outside the show? Stop it, Carmen. So then she kind of tells him that he needs to give the other women their eviction papers. But my whole thing is, why does he need to do that? Because if you want Eric, you can have him, right? So why do you need to make it known that he needs to give the other women their eviction papers? Carmen, girl, gone somewhere. You and your blue contacts, gone somewhere. Carmen has very chaotic energy. Carmen's hair has looked a mess the entire time. I'm ready for her to go home, and she's never in the bottom. Lord have mercy, never in the bottom. So then we have Demetrius and Tina. She says that she's, a little intrigued as to why he has brought her out on this date because she didn't know that he was even interested in her. He asked why. Why would you feel that way? She said, because you don't speak to me. When I first came into the group setting, you didn't even bother to say hi. He was like, yep, I can see that. I didn't. So why would she think you're interested in her, Demetrius? Demetrius is another one who I feel is waiting for these women, much like Laverne, but quiet as it's kept. Demetrius is another one who I think is one of those guys who really just wants the women to like come to him. He's waiting on you to come and approach him. Come say something to me. That's the type of whatever he's on, and to me it comes across very, I'm too good for these heifers. I'm only here because I know that they'll come sweat me, but in real life I'm really not out catching the women that I think I'm able to catch. That's what Demetrius's attitude gives me. So she said that he's giving player vibes because he's kissing on this woman and nibbling on her and all this other type of stuff. He's giving a very player vibe. He kind of gets offended and says, why can't he just be transparent and upfront? But that's weird because Demetrius is the main one throwing Precious under the bus, saying that the way that Precious is moving feels like she wants to be in the party scene. Why can't Precious just be seen as being transparent and upfront with the way that she's talking to the men too? I do not like Demetrius. Demetrius is handsome, but that's about it. He's a nice, handsome face to look at, but when you actually talk to him, he seems like a super asshole. So she tells him, he tells her that even though there are other women who he is interested in, he's definitely still really interested in her. Said that he said he's ready to get married. He went to therapy. He did the work. He worked on himself, and now he's ready to find a wife at the end of this, right? She mentioned that she does not think that love should be hard, but she does think that it does take work and it takes trust. This was just a formality. Demetrius ain't checking for Tina, and I don't think Tina's checking for Demetrius. I think this was just a let's go and date. I don't think any of these men truly took their second choice. It looked like they just went out and took any of the women. It was weird. So then we have Donovan. We see a slew of his dates, like a montage. He goes on dates with Takiyah, Sabrina, and Carmen. So this is what we learned from the culmination of him. Takiyah likes him, but she wants to know if she can tolerate him. She said that he is a gorgeous face to look at. She could look at him all day. But she doesn't know if she wants to be around him all day. And that's a very big, that's very important. He's much like Sabrina. He just got divorced, and Sabrina likes the fact that he is somebody that can connect with her on that what am I trying to say? They connect on that topic. So Sabrina just got, I guess, her divorce, which just finalized 5 months ago. You really shouldn't be on the show. And she likes the fact that because they have that connection, they both understand each other. She feels that people are kind of like prejudging her because she has just, recently been divorced. They don't really feel like she's kind of ready. Carmen does not really want any more kids, but she's willing to have that discussion. And then she's like, their entire conversation was full of sexual innuendos and all that type of stuff. And I guess I'm wondering, again, why isn't Carmen getting the same type of backlash that Precious is? It's weird. I guess the guys really just don't like Precious just at all, but to me that was kind of weird. So then Donovan asked Sabrina if there is room for another connection for her, because we know that she's connected to, linked up with Demetrius. She has the Tori connection. Is there room that he can kind of slide in? And she said there was still time for somebody to come in and sweep her off her feet. Okay. So we have Clifton and Takiyah. Clifton said he likes Takiyah. He knows that she has a 9-to-5 attitude. He wants to see what happens after 5. What's your happy hour and cocktail hour attitude? So Takiyah feels that they have a strong connection, and they're talking about oysters, how they're a natural aphrodisiac, and Clifton ends up feeding her an oyster. They have more sexual innuendo talk about how he couldn't wait to put something in her mouth and all that type of stuff. We find out that Clifton is an adrenaline junkie. So he likes skydiving and doing all that type of stuff. And Takiyah says that she enjoys that type of stuff too. Clifton had no idea, and he lets her know that, they do have a connection. And he says that even though he is rocking with Joy. He does have a strong connection with Joy. That everybody at this point is still fair game because nobody has really paired off and coupled off in that respect. Paul takes out Joy, and I said, Paul, I know you lying. Joy is not a connection for you. She is not your backup plan. So Paul said that they low-key had a date the very first day, and Joy was like, did we? So Joy says in her confessional, this is extremely platonic. We are here as friends. We don't have a romantic connection at all. So she asks him if he has made any connections. He mentions just a few. He then asked her what made her bold enough to go and kiss Clifton in front of everybody. He said because, that puts people on notice and maybe broke some hearts. She said that she was ready. You know what I mean? There wasn't a doubt in her mind who her biggest connection was. So she's going to act on it. She's not going to play games and, kind of pussyfoot around about who may or may not be a connection for her. She wanted to let that man know, you are my strongest connection. He then asks if she is ready to go after her stronger connection. And she said, honestly, she's bored with the process. She is really ready to date and pursue Clifton. She doesn't want to keep playing the games. She knows who she wants in here. She feels that at this point, everybody knows who they truly want. And I agree with that. Everybody knows who they truly want in this respect. And it's just going to be a matter of let's go ahead and work through the process and let's figure out what we want to do. So we have Laverne and Ace. Laverne is getting creepier to me by the episode, but we have Laverne and Ace. And he brought her like some body butter. It looks like maybe some shea butter. I told you, I think she smells like incense and cocoa butter myself. She looks like she wakes up and she sages her apartment and she prays to the ancestors, all of which are wonderful if you want to do, but that's just the vibe that she gives me. So he's like rubbing it on her at the table, and then he puts the napkin on her lap, said that he just wanted to get an excuse to touch her. And she said that one of her love languages is acts of affection. So she likes when people do small things like that, small tokens of affection, touching of the shoulder, putting a hand on the thigh. That type of stuff she really, really likes. Laverne said that they should just go ahead and tell everybody that they pick each other and they are done with the process and we can wrap it up because we know who we want to, pair off with. So then we have Tori and Precious's awkward, super awkward date. Precious said that she was always had a top connection with Tori the very first day that everybody met. They had a really good connection. I think they were the two that bonded about like having strained relationships with their mothers. So he kind of goes back into this talk about aiming for her kidney and hitting her kidney during sex. And when I was watching it, all I could think about was I know it's J-Dub is so irritated and pissed about that whole conversation because it's like I let it pass the first time he said it with Joy, but like now it's like it was kind of brought up. It was weird. So he's talking about that. Precious is kind of like, okay, he's like obsessed with the kidneys, like trying to play it off. But then she asks Tori if there's anything that he wants to know, let's try to get a little deeper. And Tori orders them shots. They take the shots, and then he like very awkwardly, and it made me cringe so bad, but he like awkwardly leaned over the table and kissed her unexpectedly, and then like the date was over. Precious said that she didn't feel any passion from it. Tori said it came out of nowhere, but he felt the need to just kind of go for it. It was just weird. Everything about what happened at their date was just weird to me. So we have the gentleman's lounge. Laverne said that him and Ace are already planning out holidays. This is it. And it's like, Laverne. And Tommy reminds him, you were supposed to take out your second choice. Laverne said, yeah, I took out my backup. And it just kind of shows that we have a stronger connection than I thought. He then tells the guys for whatever. He goes into motivation coach mode, and he's like, yeah, it's time to just speak up, and if you like that woman, tell that woman. And a lot of the guys were like, we don't need your advice. Now, on one hand, I felt what the guys were saying. We don't need you to tell us to buckle down or to get serious about these women. We don't need you to do that. But on the other hand, I think they also got a little too irritated by that. Just ignore it. I think so many times people on reality TV do not know how to simply just ignore other people. It was weird, to me at least. It was very weird how, like, mad they got. So they go around, they talk about who's at the bottom, and Precious, Sabrina, and Joy all got mentioned as being in the bottom. Demetrius takes Joy out on a date. She's confused. She said because we have no type of romantic connection, so she's wondering what's going on. She even asks him, why am I here? He tells her he brought her out because he wants to see if there was anything between the two of them. Demetrius then tells her that at the gentleman's lounge, all the guys talked and they said that they think that she is already all locked and loaded in on who she wants, and that she's not really open to dating anyone else. So they kind of feel like she's like not checked out of the process, but the process might not be working for her. Joy then feels that, yeah, I know who I want. I mean, at this point, I know who I want. I know who I don't want. Just like much everybody else, should at this point have some type of inkling. She then turns around and asks Demetrius if he really likes anybody. And if he is really there for love, because she thinks he is there to play games and to be messy. And I 1,000% agree with Joy. I'm sorry, but I agreed with Joy. Demetrius is then like, oh, I don't think she understood what I was saying. She understood what you were saying, but she turned it around and put it back on you, because I don't think that Demetrius really likes any of these women, because we haven't seen Demetrius engage with any women until he found out that no more women were coming. Then it was just kind of like, all right, let me just go ahead and make my pick, and he just went after Sabrina because everybody else has seemed more coupled up to that point. So he then tells her that the guys have decided that she's not ready to go home yet, but she is on notice. She acknowledges maybe she came in a little too hot and heavy, a little too, whatever, but I don't blame Joy. I feel like Demetrius is there on bullshit. That was really not Joy's place to call out in that moment, but I think Demetrius, that puts you on notice, because I feel like that means you're coming at the bottom of the totem pole in the women's conversations, and I feel like Demetrius should have took heed to that. Think about that. So then we have Clifton and Precious. Precious is excited, but she knows that something is not right. Clifton brings up her being a party girl, and Precious said that she's not one, and she hates that Demetrius is going around spreading that rumor and putting it on her, because that's not even something that she's been exhibiting or talking about. So Clifton actually sends her home, and while Precious is kind of gracious with it, she feels that the guys were all talking behind her back, taking Demetrius's word for it, and not actually having a conversation with her and asking her, the pertinent questions to find out where her mind is, what her mindset is on, and what she's really there for. So then we get a ladies' lounge, which I thought was weird. Usually the episode ends with that, but we go into the ladies' lounge, and Tommy's asking the women how they all felt about what has been going on, how the process is working for them. Joyce is good. Sabrina says good. Takiyah said not so good for me over here. She said there was an incident between her and Eric. She does not want any contact with him any further. She needs to reassess if she even wants to continue in the process. And she thinks that he needs to take some time for self-reflection. Who knows what happened, but on the next episode, for the trailer, we see Donovan saying, was it Donovan? It wasn't Eric. On the next episode, we see Eric saying that he did not ever want to come into this process to hurt anybody's feelings, and he did. And I feel like if it's going to be another round and about like it was last season with Phil and Shiloh, where we don't really know what happened and it's two sides of every story and the other castmates are talking about what happened, save it. But if y'all are going to tell us at least what happened so we can try to figure out how it went from this being one of your top matches, or this being one of your top connections, to now you don't even want to have contact with this man. Something happened. Let us know. But let me know how you guys felt about this episode, and I will catch you guys in the next one.